Today in the crypto space, we see Bitcoin hesitating right around that $65,000 mark, Ethereum right around $3,300, and the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, pretty much looking for that bottom, potentially looking for a bounce to the upside, given that Bitcoin gives us some relief to the upside. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that has been showing a bit of strength here in this market, and that project is called AVALANCHE. AVAX is the ticker. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. To be honest, in the short term, the structure is still to the downside. You can see we're still making those lower lows and lower highs. Bitcoin coming down a little bit, right around, hovering around 64,700, give or take. And we do see Ethereum still grinding to the downside as well, down approximately 5% for today. Obviously, as a lower cap project, we're seeing a lot of the lower caps come down even heavier or stronger in comparison to Bitcoin. And if we keep on going down, we see BNB coming down 3.6%, still holding up pretty good. Solana, 10%. Guys, if you missed out on my previous video yesterday on Solana, guys, you know, I still feel that there's a lot of overheated projects out there. Solana being one of them. You guys know that I'm a Solana bull. I love Solana. I bought Solana way early, and I am happy holding Solana. But the reality is, when you see some froth in the market, it's time to de-risk for scenarios like this. Yes, it's only a 10% dip. I get it. After Solana ran up over 800% from its bottom, I know 10% is not a big deal, but it would be nice to start de-risking on a lot of these projects. And of course, today I want to talk about Avalanche, because Avalanche could be in that state very soon. It's entering that level where AVAX could be slightly overbought in the short term. Now, of course, we could be getting to previous highs and price discovery on a lot of these large cap altcoins. But in the meantime, we do have to expect peaks and valleys, you know, retracements along the way so that we can buy dips, and obviously tops so we can take some of those profits. Let's continue down. We'll get into the AVAX chart shortly. We'll talk about Bitcoin and see what's going on there as a leading indicator. But I'd like to know, kind of look at the market to see exactly what is happening as a whole so that I can allocate my capital accordingly. So far, we can see that the bleeding of this market is still here. Polkadot coming down. We have Chainlink coming down. We have a lot of altcoins still bleeding out just here. Near Protocol is not doing that bad, considering its structure. It looks like a double bottom here. You know, I'm more interested in right now that seeing this nice double bottom here. Near Protocol, its bullish move got interrupted. We have Aptos looking pretty good here, up 12.5%. You know, running to the upside, 27% in the last 7 days. Pretty good here, making a higher high, you know, breaking structure to the upside. Pretty good there. But those anomalies exist in all bearish, you know, dips. Those anomalies exist. If we keep on scrolling down, you know, stacks getting a nice 10%, STX looking pretty good. A double bottom on the graph, that's pretty interesting right there. We can see in the short term that some altcoins did get a bit of a move, right? Phantom is another one, an anomaly, doing pretty good, 17% to the upside today, guys. Congrats to those Phantom holders. You know, Phantom is one of the projects that I was rooting for a nice recovery. Not only because I've been buying the dips throughout the bear market, but ultimately because Phantom at the end of the day is a layer one that has a lot of promise. So we definitely have to support the ecosystem projects such as Phantom and obviously VeChain. Look at VeChain, nice double bottom or nice level right here, up 2.5% give or take. Is it going to get its recovery very soon? Hopefully we get those bottom dwellers going like VeChain and Algorand and so on. We got to root for those guys because ecosystem projects provide those micro caps or low cap altcoins that eventually start to run. and they're great gainers. What else do we have here, guys? You can see that generally speaking, the market is still grinding to the downside. Sui doing pretty good, still within range, however, still up 12%. Not bad of a scenario, right? It's still going sideways, but at the top of the range. Maybe it breaks out, maybe it doesn't. At this point, you're up 12%, while the rest of the market is slowly bleeding out. So that's a good sign. Jupiter getting a bit of a retracement, obviously based on the fact that Solana also got a bit of a retracement. And we're trying to look at, what's happening in this market is, generally speaking here, guys, it looks like we're still kind of grinding. We're still coming down slow and steadily. Now, we could find support any moment now. And just remember the narrative of the altcoin season. If as soon as we see signs of support, Bitcoin getting support, it could be possible that we see the altcoins bounce harder and recuperate stronger. And that's our indication that the altcoin season is along the way. Obviously, looking at Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum and all that good stuff, we can get more indications that we're going to see some liquidity enter the altcoin market. But until we see the reaction off of a Bitcoin bottom, guys, we have to remain in a stance where we could retrace a little bit more here. So DCA nice and slowly. Today, guys, I bought a few dips. I made you guys known about it on the Discord. Feel free to join that Discord because I'm looking at some projects that I haven't had the opportunity to buy because they started moving, but upon this retracement, I don't mind DCAing into some of those projects so that I can have some of that exposure. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, then we'll take a look at AVAX, and you can see that right now as we speak, Bitcoin is doing its thing at this level, right? It's retracing. It got a bit of a blow off, not really a huge wick, but definitely, an indecisive candle right at this level, suggesting maybe we do get a pivot point to the downside. Now, I'm not expecting huge retracements just yet until we get confirmations highs, lower highs or some sort of structure. But what would be super bullish is if we go sideways here for the next little while. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Obviously, guys, you can see that I'm looking at this on the weekly. The weekly is not going to give you much price action. So what we should do is get onto the daily. The daily, the reality is, has been coming down. You can see that support, in my opinion, there are a lot of levels of support that we can look out for. 60,000 is definitely one of them. Look at this little price action that we got here. Spike in volume. Where we are right now could act as support. For that matter, we got a volume gap right into here. Why not? What about this level, right around this level, this volume spike right into here? It could act as support, and you can see we're getting a bit of a bounce as we speak. So it's not bad of a scenario. Imagine going range bound right here for a good while, getting into some sort of distribution that takes some time, right? I know the halvings along the way, so that we do have a bit of sideways that we could definitely get into. Now, distribution suggests a further dip. It doesn't have to happen, but let's see if we go sideways and potentially get into some sort of bull flag for that matter. At this point, we need data. Bitcoin needs to give us a bit of confirmation. Up until now, all we have been doing is making higher highs and higher lows and bull flags and breakouts to the upside, and nothing much with regards to data. The MACD at the current level is not looking good. EMAs are still facing down with red histogram bars to the downside, and we can see the RSI definitely still moving down. However, the moving average is still hanging around this level. Now, look at this. We do have the RSI coming down at this with this fractal, and ultimately it kind of went sideways. It butchered around here for a little bit. It chopped around and waited for the RSI to catch up. Now, could we get a few peaks and valleys along the way? Could the RSI, in fact, meet it halfway and basically come back up and touch the yellow line? And it's very possible that that happens as well. We get a bit of relief based on a mean reversion play. Right now, the average is right around here, the mean, and then what we could do is get a bit of a bounce and catch up to the yellow and then continue to the downside. That would give us an opportunity to de-risk. However, if that were to happen on Bitcoin, where we kind of get a bounce and maybe even get overbought like we have done in the past, like right around this level, as you see what happened here, we'll be going sideways for a little bit more. Now, I'm wondering what will happen to the altcoin market when Bitcoin gets this bounce, if it does get that bounce. And that's just what I'm preparing for. Obviously, guys, is altcoin season. Altcoins, a lot of them have yet to catch up to Bitcoin, so I'm preparing for that. And at the same time, I'm expecting a continuation based on the RSI. The RSI hasn't got oversold. There's no clear indications of support just yet. We could go sideways on the chop zone on the RSI. The 50% mark of the RSI is very possible. But as of now, no real indications of complete support just yet. We can get on the 4-hour. You can see that we almost got somewhat oversold. We're getting support off the 200 EMA on the 4-hour. Interesting level, of course, but no real major indications just yet. We're getting some bullish divergence here on the MACD, but very indecisive here, price action or momentum or trend direction, given the fact that the EMAs are kind of crossing over each other multiple times and kind of going sideways. I like to see clear direction before I make a decision. At this moment, guys, in my opinion, DCA slowly. Look for those bottom dwelling altcoins or those retracements that came down back to nice bottom levels of horizontal support and start dabbling in. Why? Get some exposure. That's all you really got to do, is get some exposure just in case we do get a nice bounce. You know, the market comes back hot. At least you got some good entries on some of the altcoins that you've been kind of scoping out in the last little while. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at AVAX. Let's move on to AVAX. What's going on with AVAX, guys? Let's zoom out for a second here. AVAX is a beast. Okay, AVAX has been doing very, very well. Entries are great. If this is the level where I was focusing on AVAX on the channel. I have multiple videos in this at this time where I was focusing on accumulating large caps, accumulating AVAX, Phantom, and many others at this level. Now we're after the move, we broke out of the resistance zone where potentially we could have got some resistance and we got a bit of hesitation, but guys, we blew right by it and we didn't even get oversold at that point, so let it go. And then all of a sudden we kept on going and going. Levels of resistance got blown right through, no big deal, and look at where we are right now, pretty much at Ethereum levels, right? If you look at the Ethereum chart, Ethereum is right around the zone, pretty much looking for all-time highs, previous highs, and price discovery. So look at Solana, same thing. Look at BNB, pretty much the same thing. Now look at AVAX. And if you compare the market caps, we're talking about one of the largest market caps of projects out there. In fact, AVAX flipped Cardano today for market cap, so which is an interesting thing. Now all of a sudden we're getting a bit of volume, we're getting a bit of EMAs, nice EMAs are nice open. It looked like it was going to fake us out with a cross, and we got green histogram bars to the upside for continuation. Now what if we get extremely oversold, which is very possible, or overextended in the MACD, which is very possible, and we stay in overbought conditions here on the weekly for a good while, which is also very possible. But let's use Bitcoin and Ethereum as a leading indicator for a second. Bitcoin is all the way up here, price discovery doing its thing. Ethereum pretty much right around this zone at $100 level. Now at this level, you got to understand, market cap wise, AVAX would be at a very mature state. You're no longer going to get that volatility to make those massive gains that you're looking for. If you're looking at for a 10x, 20x, 50x, you get my point. You got to get into lower cap projects. You got to find those low cap projects that are potentially on the AVAX ecosystem. And guys, if you're bullish on AVAX at this point, you love the price action, you're bullish on AVAX, my opinion, obviously not financial advice, but what I would be doing, and this is what I am going to be doing, is taking profits off of my AVAX positions and looking for AVAX projects that are lower cap. Trader Joe, for example, look at the DEX. Look for a meme coin if that's your thing. Look for a meme coin that has good potential. Look for other projects. Gaming, guys. We know that AVAX is big on gaming. A lot of gaming projects being built on AVAX. Let's look for gaming projects that are micro cap, small cap altcoins, and then start scaling into those, because not only is it a hot narrative, but as can be seen, AVAX is a hot ecosystem. It is definitely picking up here. So it's all about risk to reward. The reward right now has already been achieved. The risk is very high right now that we could get a pullback. Now, obviously, the bull run is around the corner. I'm not saying that we're going to get a massive rejection, but maybe a bit of a pullback for continuation. And yes, it could get to $200, $300, $500. It can do another 5x, but guaranteed, if you get into a micro cap or a low cap altcoin, and AVAX does get to those very bullish targets, those low cap altcoins, those lower cap altcoins will definitely outperform AVAX and all the rest of the altcoins that are larger cap. So what we really need to do is basically get into the mode of cycling your capital from risky scenarios to de-risking scenarios that where the price is still at the bottom of the range, where the market cap has yet to run, and we have a lot more growth opportunity to put our capital to work. All right, guys, this is what I would be doing here on the weekly. Let's go on the daily. The daily right now is getting overbought slow and steady while we're making those higher highs, but you can see that there's signs of bearish divergence here. Okay, we're getting nice bearish divergence. Now they could be invalidated, no doubt, but higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI. The only way we really invalidate this bearish divergence is if the RSI comes up and meets this level again at about 92% on the RSI, and the MACD is still looking bullish, guys. EMAs are facing up with green histogram bars, so it's very likely that we see a continuation, but how much more here on the short term until this bearish divergence kicks in? Again, is there bearish divergence here? There's bearish divergence also on the weekly. Higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI. But again, if the MACD and the RSI can keep on showing strength and we get up again to about 85% here on the RSI, it's very likely that we invalidate. And you know what? The trend is your friend. Continuation. Just anticipate dips along the way. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. More bearish divergence even on the 4-hour. Higher highs on the price action. You can see that. And lower highs on the RSI. So all these confluent time frames are showing us that potentially AVAX could be short-term overvalued, where we can anticipate a dip to buy at lower levels. And that opportunity would give you the best opportunity to buy those altcoins that are lower cap on the AVAX ecosystem. Guys, join me live tonight. We could definitely look at some of those projects. We can see that there's a lot of volume entering here, even on lower time frames. AVAX is definitely picking up volume. So you got to kind of translate that, and what does that mean for its ecosystem? What kind of volume is entering those altcoins that are potentially ready to start running based on, you know, the AVAX strength? And that's what I'm trying to show you here, guys, is that AVAX is showing strength. So get into its ecosystem. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. And of course, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.